But I think the bigger trend that we're going to see is just going to be this piece around agentic AI, because today you have people that are using dedicated software that at the end of the day is just for really data entry. Like thinking of like an estimating tool as an example, people spend all day in there doing counts, doing measurements. It's just essentially data entry, and you get some useful information out at the end. As we start to see more agentic AI systems that do the work, are you really going to need that estimating software anymore? Or does it need to be the same software? Does it need to be as powerful if 90% of those takeoffs are being done through AI, right?
Through AI.
And I think that's probably going to be the real shift that I don't know if the market's necessarily ready for, is that you might have a really good system, but if it's essentially a data entry platform or input output, then if you don't have humans ticking things off, is that software going to look the same? It's kind of the big one for me.
Right. Okay.
Not to get too sci-fi, but
here's the reality, right? And on our end, right? On my perspective, because I'm an estimator.
Yeah.
Right. So we have this framework. We call it SOT, System, Operator, and Training. Right. So if you remove one of the, three-legged stool, it will fall off. Right. So a very smart system like yours, and having an operator to complement that, and obviously the continuous improvement with your system, also with the industry changes, you get the training. I don't think you could find any other part of that or a better solution out of that right now. And I would say there is the estimators that will survive, shall we say, on that role, will be the ones who would actually be able to embrace the new tech, new systems.
100%.
And
I should be clear on that as well. Like, just because some of the systems part will change a bit. For any sort of estimation work, for any sort of tenders, there is so much deep knowledge that goes into being successful around that. Whether that's things like understanding what's on the drawings but not written anywhere, like what are the industry norms, what's that client's expectations, what sort of products do they really care about, what are some good substitutes that maybe the architects didn't think about, what's their cost or their ESG considerations, and they're like, it's just super deep. And the problem is, if you were to just give an AI this full autonomy to just come up with anything that it wants, it might have a really expensive product offering, or it might not take into account the existing part of the building that needs to be modified. So it'll come up with something that's completely wrong. And I think that's where you're going to continue needing that really deep people aspect. If anything, that's going to become more important, because you'll have more time to actually get into the weeds around what that particular client's pain points are, what they really want out of the asset, and then the estimation reflects that, compared to just like a dumb tool which might get a bunch of counts, but it's not necessarily going to be competitive if you're using that to actually win the job, as an example.
So, okay. Like I always ask my first, my guest, okay? Can you please introduce yourself, okay? And I do my own intro, but you just introduce yourself, and how did you get your job?
So my name's Shane Hodgkins. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Matrak, which is a company involving automating the global construction supply chains. And how I first got my start, so I worked professionally for a lot of big corporate software development firms, and my dad works in construction, building sort of the window installing for large-scale high-rise buildings. And my brother had just started working there just as he was also doing his Masters of AI. And so we'd be geeking out about all this high-tech stuff that he was doing for his uni assignments, but then he'd go onto job sites and just have pieces of paper that would get covered in rain, and suddenly you'd have millions of dollars of facade panels that nobody knew where it needed to go. And so the two of us just thought that was absolute madness. And so he basically built the first little prototype. It went gangbusters on the job sites that we were on. And so we're like, all right, let's try and turn this into something real.
Fantastic. So I think that kind of answered my first question, which what inspired you to start Matrak and why construction? Because you are, I mean, yeah, like you said, you are in software space. You were at Accenture, isn't it?
I worked alongside Accenture for some big projects that I did at PEXA previously, and so yeah, so I spent a bit of time in Manila with I was managing a team over there. So yeah, it was pretty good.
Pretty good. Okay. Now, can you walk us through your aha moment? Okay, let's dig deeper on that. When Matrak's concept really click out there.
Yeah, so the big thing for us, I think for a lot of people in a lot of industries, they're really focused on like problem solving. And as big nerds, anytime there was something that we found frustrating or annoying, you're like, oh, I'm just going to write a script to fix it. You know, I shouldn't have to do this boring work. And so that was a problem that my co-founder, Brett, just kept hitting day after day after day. And we kept saying, there has to be something that already exists that does this, that, or the other. And the more research we did and the more interviews we did with people and more conversations, it just became really apparent that things were just being done in this like really maddening, frustrating, risky, expensive, time-consuming way. And nobody really had a solution for it. So that was kind of the moment. And even when we started researching things like BIM, as an example, like early days, we're like, well, BIM looks like the future. Obviously, they're not going to need a little system called Matrak. But then the more we looked into it, we're like, well, it's only really used by a select few white-collar workers. It has no positive impact on the job sites. The quality of the data is often totally wrong. Nobody really relies on it in any real way. So yeah, I guess we just wanted to solve it. We were just very naive and thought we could take on this big challenge.
Did it actually scare you to start your business from the start? So we say, because I'm a founder too, so
yeah, of course.
Everyone would probably veer away on this challenge. And what made you really? I mean, let's get into your head, so we say, right?
Yeah.
Why? Is there an inspiration? Where did that come from?
Well, I think we were always very passionate about having that opportunity to really, try and solve problems the way that we thought that they could be solved. And so this definitely felt like an opportunity to, put our money where our mouth is and actually back ourselves and really test something out. But as you know, as every founder knows, there's just so many scary moments. I feel like being a founder is just, an endless number of scary moments. Even as silly as like the very first time we decided to take Brett's prototype and we wanted to go and speak to some like major construction players to get their feedback on this crazy idea that we had. And my brother had just come straight from the job site, so he was in his his shorts and his tool belt and everything. I'd just come from my corporate job, so I was like in a full suit. I was like the only guy in a suit on this job site on a 40-degree day. And so even just that terror of standing into this room at the start being like, oh my God, we have no idea what we're doing here. We look like idiots. But I mean, that's the only way that you learn and you improve. You just got to like dive in, see what you can take from that, and then go those next steps. The big scary moment, as you know as well, is when you actually get to the point of quitting your day job. So I was very fortunate that my previous company, PEXA, their CEO at the time was very entrepreneurial, and he really encouraged people to go and do what they could. And so they generously let me drop my hours down in order to, really test the market with Matrak.
Wow.
And and then Brett was still working full time. He was basically funding the business while I did less and less hours to try and get it started. And then, that culminated in our first little funding round. And then Brett could quit his day job, and we finally all got together in Melbourne and started it.
That's rare. Oh my God. That's rare opportunity that someone like your boss would actually let you play around the idea. So kudos to that guy. If actually he stopped, let's just say it's not that guy, whoever it is. If that guy actually stopped you or didn't support you, would you still do it?
I mean, it would have been so much harder, right? Actually, to be honest, the big thing that really, so I was working on it a bit, and it was, I don't think I was part-time yet. I think I was still full-time at my old company. But the first, and I guess, again, being a founder, you work with so many different people, and you really succeed on the back of, the support that the community, the people around you give. And we actually had some of the people at that company that were much smarter than me that were helping go through the numbers and look at our sort of business cases we were pulling together. And yeah, we actually had one of my friends there just offered to back us. He's like, I want to give you 50 grand, go and do it properly. Wow. Yeah. And that was completely unexpected. I was like, have you been drinking? Like, what the hell are you talking about? But he was just really, I mean, I think that the whole company just had that real entrepreneurial spirit. And so he wanted to back us. And then the CEO was happy to let me take some time off to really, get the business humming. And yeah, there was just so many people all along that journey that were really pivotal at different points. And so, yeah, it's hard to know what would have happened if it wasn't for those individuals. I mean, it might have never gotten off the ground realistically. So yeah, who knows? So we're very, very grateful.
Thanks for sharing that. Now, what kind of feedback did you get from tradies, site managers in early days of Matrak?
I mean, it was overwhelmingly positive. People hate the way that they have to try to manage materials and supply chain at the moment. Even if you just think of it yourself, like trying to use a spreadsheet on your phone, let alone if that spreadsheet is like, has 100 sheets and 1,000 rows on each sheet, and you're just trying to find the one piece of product to figure out, was it shipped? Is it going to be here next week? Or do we have a problem? If you're on site, you just can't do it, right?
Correct.
And the other big challenge is that for all of these products, particularly in Australia, they're not really manufactured here most of the time. Even if you've got an Australian supplier, that supplier is getting it from overseas. And so when you're dealing with information that goes across multiple companies, like how do you have that visibility of what's going on? You might not even know the name of the manufacturer, let alone what they've packed, what they've shipped, what quality checks they've done. So I think everyone was really, really hungry for a solution, but there was a reason that hadn't been done before, right? Because it's hard enough getting one organization or one team to change their processes, change their habits, find new ways of doing things. But if you're saying, okay, you're team number one, but then you've got this contract with team number two, and then they're actually working with team number three, and then the logistics company is team number four, we're all going to do things a bit differently on this project. Like, that's hard.
Well, I think the exciting bit as well that you've done out there was you were ready before, you were ahead of AI. And
I mean, a little bit.
And truth be told, right? Because I started my business, and it's probably, I mean, sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. The year that you started, when was it?
2018 was our first official year, but we had been building the prototypes for a few years before then.
Right. Okay. So that was pre-pandemic, and obviously AI was just a couple of years, like 3 years, I think, right now. And we're like 8 years. You're 8 years. I'm 7 years in the business, right? And I was able to actually, I'll name this guy, a very nice guy, Penny. I met Penny from, I think he was connected to Cultivate group from one of my business mentors. And Penny was really exciting and also telling about stories about you guys. And I said, wow, this is revolutionary. And obviously we initially, I think you were really focused on a certain market at that time. And we didn't see the opportunity yet how we can work together, right? But now I know you put your system, you are actually putting your technology even with steroids because of AI.
Yeah.
But before we go to that, instead of actually really dabbling from the past, okay? How does Matrak transform collaboration right now in the large scale projects, and even maybe if there's some small ones but volume build?
Yeah, so basically on any project, because you're dealing with so many different teams, departments, companies, countries. It means that you've got lots of different information, which is just, overwhelming for any one person to be able to keep track of. And so what we do is we basically pour in all of this information, consolidate it, and just give you a simple view back of all of the key things that your project needs, where they're sitting, when they're expected, and it's able to then trigger actions like, reminders, escalations, alerts, if there's anything that looks like it could get out of control. So whether you're for big projects, this is really, really critical, because you do generally have these overseas supply chains, and the penalties for delays can start at $1 million if you're one day overdue. So it's just critical to get everything right. If you're building a garden shed, you probably don't need it as much, but for those smaller projects, even if you've got a lot of different people that are working on top of each other in a single building, this can help you keep track of that, especially if you're doing that volume.
Right. Now, how did you balance rapid innovation with slow adoption in rate-in construction?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, especially because most projects take roughly 3 years from start to completion, and that's just the phase that we look at. And so if you want to really test something out, you're not going to have a very innovative business if you've got to wait until project 2 to test the next thing. So a lot of what we've done has been based on us focusing on those different parts of the construction supply chain and trying to solve as much as we can for them. And then once that's looking healthy, then we go to the next sort of stage. So we've spent quite a lot of time with manufacturers, particularly in China, just really understanding the details of where the products come from, the challenges on the ground, how those factories operate, and try to making it as powerful for those teams as possible, so that you then get the value of that information back in Australia.
Right.
And then similarly, that sort of builds on itself. The people start to want more and more visibility in Australia of what's happening overseas. So then you need to kind of circle back so that you can get more information as well. So it's a bit of a feedback loop is how we think about it.
Which is, do you believe that the pandemic also become a catalyst for people to embrace your technology?
Yeah, I mean, it was extremely disruptive, and the construction industry got hit so hard. But it was also quite a pivotal point for a lot of businesses, because their standard way of operating is for you to have dedicated team members that are going to be in China for 2 weeks a month, right? And that couldn't happen. And they still had, hundreds of billions of dollars worth of products that needed to still get to Australia at some point. So we definitely saw that being a huge push, that suddenly people were like, well, similar to how we do video calls today, it's like, well, we need that information. We can't necessarily be in the same room. How can technology help us out? But it was also interesting too, because on the data side, we saw firsthand the spikes of the pandemic as different regions shut down, or as lockdowns were starting to come into place, as people tried to accelerate as much work as they could. And so that was also a really interesting piece to monitor. You could actually see the shocks based on how different countries and different stakeholders are doing their work, because everyone's so interconnected.
Right. Okay. Now, which countries is Matrak being used right now?
I think we're around about 15 or so. So after Australia, China's the big one. Hong Kong is actually our biggest market in terms of volume of projects. US, Canada's a good one. UK, we're just setting up an office. We've got a bunch of manufacturers to different parts of Southeast Asia. So Philippines, Malaysia, Vietnam, Indonesia. I'll definitely be forgetting a few, but
Was that the plan initially, to get into the global space?
I mean, we knew that it would be a global problem, and we know that Australia is quite a very small market worldwide. So we always had that sort of view of how we'd want to tackle things. the surprise for us came how quickly China started adopting the system. It was actually the first prototype projects that we did when we weren't even getting paid. We actually had our first users in China picking it up and becoming huge advocates, which was amazing. And then once we got our first paying customers, I think it was actually a second customer ever, he's still a customer today, which is cool. He's like, we need to go live in 3 weeks, but I need the guys in China using it and it has to be in Chinese. And we're like, what?
What?
And so it was like this mad scramble to get the whole system multilingual at that time. And then a couple of weeks later, we just start getting all these photos, and I'd never been to China before. And so to see the production lines, the factories and everything coming through the system was quite a big moment. And then, and then it was probably only like a year after that we were there on the ground and things really sort of took off for us.
What are the features right now that you'd be launching, or shall we say that doesn't exist in the market, that's really a game changer for Matrak, and also the thing that you're going to be launching, right? So I'm really holding off that new technology you're putting out there, but hang on, what's the game changer right now with whatever you're doing with Matrak?
Yeah, so I mean, to be honest, it's hard to talk about it without talking about the new launch that's coming up, because that has been our big focus. I guess in terms of where it came from, so you mentioned earlier around, we've obviously come from that AI background from the start, and we got our first AI patent in 2019, specifically around takeoffs, right?
Yep.
So we had this challenge really early on where, being nerds, we're like, okay, you'll just have lists of information and databases and blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as we started to take it to people on the job site, they're like, this makes no sense to us. We look at drawings. I need to see on the drawings, color-coded, where all the products are. And so that was also a mad scramble, but we pulled that together and then basically patented this AI system that's able to look at construction drawings, identify the products, do a bill of quantities automatically, and then use that information so that you can have that color-coded drawing and click on a kitchen and see where it is, or click on a window and see where it is. So that was quite pivotal to begin with, and as far as I know, we're still the only supply chain management sort of system that does anything like that. But then what we started to see a bit over 12 months ago, around the time that we're opening the office in China, was that we had a lot of really good customers in China, but most of them would only use us for certain projects or for certain clients. Some would use us for everything, but for the really big players that did, 1,000 projects a year, they would just have a dedicated team that might do like 5 to 10 on Matrak. And so we wanted to basically remove a lot of those adoption barriers. And that was where we started thinking around what more can we do on that AI front? And specifically thinking, well, from design and estimation, like winning work through the design phase, through placing orders, coordinating orders, managing stock, all of this stuff, there's just a ton of manual admin that takes place where people might have their own spreadsheets that they've been working off for 15 years, and that creates these data silos that actually makes it harder for everybody to get things running together. So our idea was, well, what if we had this AI that could access the same spreadsheets that people use, analyze them, consolidate that data, and then take actions in the systems that most companies already use today. And so it goes from being like a system that you have to do work into, to being almost like a colleague that is doing stuff independently, collaborating with you, and you don't actually need to go in and learn Matrak and type things into Matrak. If you've used this spreadsheet for 15 years and you're happy with that spreadsheet, keep doing it, because when you save it to a share drive or when you email that spreadsheet, an AI is going to be able to say, okay, cool, I see what you're doing, tick it off in Matrak, and then that's going to trigger the next action.
Next step. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know. it feels like you've read my questions, but I haven't given you anything. So, because the question next question was what's a feature request or a client problem that you caught off guard, and how did you solve it? But technically, you're saying it now that you're incorporating this AI. So
Yeah.
let's move to the next one. What role does AI or automation play in the future of Matrak?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to play a critical role in the future of everything, right? Like, Brett and I have been like in this space for our whole lives. We made our first AI together when I think I was 13 and he was 7.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. We called it Brain. We took BR from Brett and AIM from Shane, and we're like, Brain, that's our new AI.
Wow. Nice. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
But
okay.
It wasn't very good, obviously, but it's kind of a fun hobby.
At the end of the day, I mean, that is, shall we say, the epiphany of what you guys are trying to build something.
Totally.
And I truly believe anything that we create, right, as a founder, it's actually the 1,000 iteration that comes out in the open that's really the most best fit. But I mean, it's not always the number one idea that we might have. But I always have this notebook that a diary that I've just put notes, and here I am. I revisit my 2016 idea. Fuck it, Mike. I'm doing it today.
Yeah.
Do you do that too?
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. And it's funny how quick things move. You might have these ideas that you remember were great only a couple of years ago, and then you go and revisit it and you're like, oh, I could improve it this way, and what was I thinking? No, that was stupid. But then that's like how you improve, is, you know, being able to reflect on what you've done and then just keep iterating. And you never get there, obviously, but you're always sort of refining it, I guess, as you go.
And it changed. Would you agree that it changed also your perspective, that it's not because it's just your idea that's the best, but how the market will take up for it.
Yeah.
And it eventually, because that's the main problem of every software, developer or founder, right? Is that there's the customer churn. They don't use it, right?
Yeah.
So how do you make sure that so for every other developers out there, this is probably a tip for Shane. But what is it that you guys can see? I mean, like Brett, right? He's your partner on this, co-founder. So how do you guys perceive that portion, that hang on, there's a bit of churn right now? How do you fix that up?
Yeah, so I mean, I think at the end of the day, you always have to meet people where they are. Like, it is what it is. There's a lot of companies that, we've known some of the founders really well that have come through the construction tech industry, and they might have solutions that on paper look amazing, but they require so much change management. Like, people have to do things totally differently, that you almost get, workers telling them to piss off, or and so then you're just not gonna get that buy-in, no matter how smart the idea seems to be. Right. And that was why we started with things like having visual drawings instead of having lists of things. You've got to make sure it's going to meet people where they are. But one big kind of mantra we have internally, which is like a bit of an engineering sort of motto, is that the best system is no system. Because if you have to build a solution, or you've got multiple parts that all need to do things, if you are reliant on some users to do this action in order so that other users can get this other value, then the more pieces you've got, the more opportunities there is for something to go wrong, or people to get frustrated, or to have their own ways of doing things. And so that's what that sort of really ruthless view of trying to cut as much out of the system as we can in a lot of ways is what led to the point where we said, well, actually, for a lot of these activities, we don't even need users to be logging in. We don't want to be creating more work where we say, hey, okay, every day you go into Matrak and you have to do these reactions and do this data entry, and then you check these reports. The system should just do it for you. And if you're used to, just uploading your designs to Aconex, then you shouldn't also have to go into a register of say, what did I do in a separate system? Your first system should just be Matrak should just be looking at Aconex and analyzing that information and go from there.
Right.
So that's
Integrations. Yep.
yeah, and just like
Right.
removing as much like manual effort as possible.
Right. Okay. Okay. Um, when I set foot in Australia,
Mhm.
I kind of introduced the idea of Lean Six Sigma concepts.
Mm.
But one of the previous bosses that I used to work for, that company I used to work for, he said, you got to look at the Australian way. Even if you introduce this now, I don't think you're going to get any uptake out there, because they're going to tell you about, look at the Australian way of doing it. Now, is it inspired? Right, whatever you're doing right now, is it a bit more inspired because you're dealing with Asians, and typically Asians had looked into, or probably already embraced that. I mean, since the dawn of time when Toyota has done that, Lean Six Sigma, and probably China has done that. So are you incorporating that now as well?
Yeah, I mean, so we've always used lean practices since before we started, just because coming from sort of software development land,
Oh wow!
a lot of that is really industry standards. Even though in construction, it's still more a buzzword than something you really see used, at least not in Australia. It has been really interesting to see how different the way that different countries operate. Like obviously every individual, every company is totally different. But in terms of the trends, we definitely see that in China, tech adoption, mobile adoption is just way quicker than what you see here. And you can end up getting this funny situation where people in Australia might assume that they're more likely to use technology, and therefore, if it's hard for us, it's going to be hard for people in Asia. But often it's not true at all. Actually, the people will adopt that data really, really quickly, and then Australians can benefit from it, even if they're a bit more traditional in how they think about technology.
Okay. Well, on a personal note, let me veer a little bit on the, let's say, in a bit of mindset of Shane, right? And Brett as well. I don't know, I'm not sure if you can speak for him, but do you consider yourself crazy?
I mean, you have to be a bit to be a founder. You would know that, man. Like, yeah. I mean,
and what's the end level of craziness you are on?
I think one of our board members says it really well, that to be a successful founder, you have to be essentially extremely optimistic, but also extremely paranoid at the same time. Because if you are too paranoid, then you're not going to get out of bed. Like, you're not going to actually start to try and do something ambitious. If you're too optimistic, you're going to run into the first wall because you didn't realize that there'd be a wall around the corner. So you really need that balance. And I think that's where I'm really lucky to be working with Brett, because we're able to, look at things from those different perspectives and try and pull something together, even though we're both, super ambitious, crazily ambitious in different ways.
Well, that's how we change the world, right? Or change create an effect out there. If we're not crazy internally on looking at things differently, we won't be able to bring it out to the world out there, because we're just going to be an average with the others who looks at, right?
100%.
So, where do you see Australian construction tech heading in the next 5 years?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, a lot of it's getting bought up. So how Australian it'll end up being is going to be an interesting question. There's definitely a lot of consolidation happening in the industry globally at the moment around that. Which is probably a big topic by itself. But it is going to be weird. I think the big
in reference as well with the trends you're seeing in other countries that you work with. Do you think that will evolve as well with Australia?
Yeah, I mean, Australia's always been at the forefront of what's happening around the world. And so I think we're going to continue to see a lot of Australian businesses like construction tech come out of here, Australia really being a testing ground for the fact that we've got really tight margins, really challenging supply chains, huge housing supply crisis at the moment. And so if you can actually be delivering successes here, the rest of the world becomes a lot easier in a lot of ways. So I definitely think we're going to continue seeing that trend. But I think the bigger trend that we're going to see is just going to be this piece around agentic AI, because today you have people that are using dedicated software that at the end of the day is just for really data entry. Like thinking of like an estimating tool as an example, people spend all day in there doing counts, doing measurements. It's just essentially data entry, and you get some useful information out at the end. As we start to see more agentic AI systems that do the work, are you really going to need that estimating software anymore? Or does it need to be the same software? Does it need to be as powerful if 90% of those takeoffs are being done through AI, right?
Through AI, right.
And I think that's probably going to be the real shift that I don't know if the market's necessarily ready for, is that you might have a really good system, but if it's essentially data entry platform or input output, then if you don't have humans ticking things off, is that software going to look the same? It's kind of the big one for me.
Right. Okay.
Not to get too sci-fi, but
yeah, I mean, here's the reality, right?
Yeah.
And on our end, right? On my perspective, because I'm an estimator.
Yeah.
Right. So we have this framework. We call it SOT: System, Operator, and Training. Right. So if you remove one of the, three-legged stool, it will fall off. Right. So a very smart system like yours, and having an operator to complement that. And obviously the continuous improvement with your system, with the industry changes, you get the training. I mean, I don't think you could find any other part of that or a better solution out of that right now.
Oh, 100%.
And I would say there is the estimators that will survive, shall we say, on that role will be the ones who would actually be able to embrace the new tech, new systems.
100%.
And
I should be clear on that as well. Like this, just because some of the systems part will change a bit. I mean, for any sort of estimation work, for any sort of tenders, there is so much deep knowledge that goes into being successful around that. Whether that's things like understanding what's on the drawings but not written anywhere, like what are the industry norms, what's that client's expectations, what sort of products do they really care about, what are some good substitutes that maybe the architects didn't think about, what's their cost or their ESG considerations, and they're like, it's just super deep. And the problem is, if you were to just give an AI this full autonomy to just come up with anything that it wants, it might have a really expensive product offering, or it might not take into account the existing part of the building that needs to be modified. So it'll come up with something that's completely wrong. And I think that's where you're going to continue needing that really deep people aspect. If anything, that's going to become more important, because you'll have more time to actually get into the weeds around what the particular client's pain points are, what they really want out of the asset, and then the estimation reflects that. Compared to just like a dumb tool which might get a bunch of counts, but it's not necessarily going to be competitive if you're using that to actually win the job, as an example.
So to put it simply, there's really a moat in that trade, that skill.
Yeah.
and it's going to even get deeper because of the technology.
Exactly, because that's where you can compete on those relationships, that sort of deep understanding of the particular trade, the particular region, the particular client's needs. And like AIs are not going to be able to have those sort of meetings, have those sort of catch-ups with the clients and the industry bodies to really understand that.
Yep.
So yeah, I think humans have a little while, but it'll be an interesting couple of decades. I don't know what my kid's going to be doing for work. Like, it's going to be wild.
I mean, the other part that obviously AI cannot do, I mean, yeah, obviously there could be comparison of prices here and there, right? There's already that kind of, comparison, right? But the thing is, it's always going to be a person to another person saying, yeah, you could get this deal at this price.
Yeah.
Nowhere near that an AI to AI would be negotiating each other. I don't see that yet.
Yeah.
Technically, why would you trust your company's decision making on an AI perspective? Let's just say we're talking about already, let's say multi-million dollar materials. You just don't tell AI, say, I'll go with 1% off. Or,
100%.
Or because that number is gonna change a lot. I mean, affects the whole, production in now. Let's dig a little bit on Matrak. Is Matrak involved more on estimating, pre-tender or tender stage, or more on the construction phase?
Definitely more on the construction phase. We started doing takeoffs basically to just remove that data entry barrier, so that if you needed to know what your products are, you don't have to get a grad to spend 2 weeks telling you what materials are needed. Just upload the drawings and then you track it. But we are seeing it as a really, it's picking up surprisingly quickly.
So we're working towards estimation now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can we reveal that now?
Yeah, that's probably the biggest growth sector that we're seeing at the moment. Just because for any individual trade, you end up having a takeoff done by the quantity surveyors, by the developer, by their consultant, by the builder, by the supplier, by the subcontractor installer. Everybody goes through that takeoff process independently. And for a lot of companies that have really tight margins, really small teams, they might cost a job just based on a finger in the air, and they don't know if they're going to win, if they're going to make money or lose money if they win the job. Right. That's so common in Australia. So I think making it easier for people to start with more depth, by having some of this takeoff completed, but then to be able to link that with the human expert aspect so that they can get just a lot more relevant information, even though they're super time poor, and maybe their old methods of trying to do it themselves are not really up to speed, so they get they de-risk their own projects without the overhead, essentially.
So what's the misconception people have about tech founders in construction?
It's pretty interesting. I feel like tech founders, people kind of see them for what they are pretty well in Australia. It might be different in different industries. The reality is that for a lot of tech systems, the solutions might seem great on paper, but when they hit the ground, there's all sorts of issues. And I think everyone knows that founders are desperately trying to make things better, but a lot of systems make things so bad, and so maybe you're 3 steps forward, 2 steps back sort of thing. So yeah, I don't know, I think it's an interesting space, but Australia has always been at the forefront of trying to find solutions, just because we know that it's so hard to get the staff to do all the things we want to do, and so if software can help a bit, then let's go for it. But it's been a little while since there's been a lot of really big breakthroughs that I've seen in the industry that have been able to uplift everybody at once. You tend to end up with companies just kind of pick the brands that work for them, and they've all got pros and cons, and some of them get a bit more work and some of them get a bit less work, but haven't really seen anything transformational since your Aconex, Autodesk, Procore sort of players in the AU market. So yeah, I guess that's kind of the big missing piece.
Do you believe that with the new implementation of technologies you would put in, right, would that reduce jobs in the industry as well?
Short answer is yes. So there's kind of 2 sides to it. So for a lot of the companies that are using it at the moment, so we've got this early access program with some big tier 1 builders and suppliers, and one of the big challenges is that there's way more work than they've got staff, and so the ability to have these a a carbon AI or a supply chain AI or a quality AI that's just doing that bit of the work that we know is a gap, and it's a lot cheaper than hiring staff, then that's great. But then you end up in this situation where you might say, cool, I wish I had 15 staff, I've got 10 and 5 AIs and I can get everything done. But then when you look at how tight the margins are, people do start to think about, well, do we want to have 10 AIs and 5 staff, right? Which is a real challenge, because since the AIs are doing, like, the AIs tend to focus on the stuff that is what juniors would tend to do, and it's the way that you get to that level of expertise. You know, thinking of the example with TMC as an example, like, you've got to kind of go up those rungs. You've got to have that training component to become that specialist that they can then use the tools to do amazing things. And if that ladder is getting pulled up, then how do you get people to that top tier to really build out that capacity? So that's going to be a challenge. But I think it's important for everybody to be aware of what's coming, because the worst thing is to be kind of unprepared for it. So, yeah.
Well, we'll take that challenge up.
Yeah, 100%.
There's probably a couple couple more questions left, but what advice would you give a young trader or builder who has a startup idea?
Yeah. Basically, get someone to use it as quickly as possible and find all of the issues, because there will be more issues than you could have possibly imagined. But the only way you can get better is to, like, get that real world experience. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And I'm not sure if you've heard about this, but Stephen Bartlett mentioned this. He created like a killer company for his own business. How does Matrak or you running your company try to get ahead of the space? Is there another strategy you guys are doing to make sure that you're still up ahead the others? Because there's possibly some people trying to catch up with you, but because you're the source, and no one can actually, there's no USB we can plug in our heads and they'll know our ideas, right? So how does it work?
Yeah. It's something we're really focused on. Unfortunately, I can't really share anything, but I think that is the key. Like, anything that goes out to the public, you've already got to be a couple of steps ahead, because we've seen this actually with some of the tech that we did a few years ago that we thought was really groundbreaking. And yeah, it took like 9 months or something for us to start to see like carbon copies appearing in other systems. But you know, you've got to be aware of that. And obviously we've got some patents, which is great, but you just got to make sure you're already thinking like 2 years ahead before you release anything, because it's going to get tipped up.
and that's really one of the aspects of when you have the infinite source of ideas. They won't be able, even if they see what you're doing now, what you are putting out there, they won't be able to pick up the idea that you already written on your notebook, like I said, right? For the first, 3 years or 4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Since you had that inception in there and nowhere near, and obviously they're just picking up your pace, and here you're launching to a new technology, which is it's going to be groundbreaking. It will open up a lot of opportunities. I see this as well as opening a lot of talents and skills gap that not being covered, able to be covered by Australian skill set. Trade skills that we have right now, which is open more doors or invites, because your system is a cloud base, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that will really open doors for like the team people that we train, like remote estimators, right? So they can be equipped with this and be more valuable. Okay, they might have an exposure from another country or whatever, right? And injecting that concepts and together with your system. Now, with shall we say, where do you see this? That maybe the final bit, shall we say, in terms in improvement in construction, where do you think is the pinnacle that you guys can achieve?
So one of our close customers mentioned, like, it's a pretty major company, and they believe that they could get to the point, or society might get to the point where that whole industry is run by like 10 staff compared to like the couple of thousand that they have today. So I think
robotics,
that's...
Is it?
Pardon?
Is that include robotics in there?
Yeah, I mean, it will. Yeah, but it is going to be really interesting. There's going to be a lot of physical stuff that people need to do, and I think robots are going to take a little while to get to where they need to get. But for a lot of like the jobs that I do, where you're on a computer most days, we've automated about a large chunk of what I would normally be doing as well.
I mean,
that's going to be
crazy here.
Yeah.
Here anyway, Shane. Shall we say? Do you think your information? Let's say you get your hands onto an Optimus made by Tesla. Do you think that would really make a? I mean, they can use that intel. You don't even have to. It's already accessible online.
Yeah.
So they might actually just, get to that server and you don't even see that happening. They have that information now. They can pick up the materials where they should be, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exactly. It's going to be a weird thing, because on the one hand, and this is the reason why we do this stuff, like we're in a housing affordability crisis. Housing is so inaccessible, and everybody needs to have a place to live. And so if we're able to get the guardrails right, and this automation can allow companies to, still profitably deliver houses that are significantly more accessible, cheaper, but still at the quality that you would expect, then that's obviously a massive benefit. But it needs to be done in a way so that if we're automating tasks, we're not seeing people losing their job, because then at the end of the day, who's going to buy those houses, right? You haven't solved housing affordability. And so I think that's probably the main conversation. I think like the Australian government had the AI policy, which I think is a really good start, but it's one of the biggest missing pieces from that policy is how do we actually measure and manage and come up with a plan for this, like, two sides of the automation equation, so that we get the benefits of the cost reductions, but people still have the money to, buy the things that they want to buy. That's kind of the big missing piece, I think, but we're going to have to solve it pretty quick.
Because one of the projections that Elon Musk said that people would be less working in a couple of years' time, right? Maybe in less than a decade, he would, because of his Optimus, right? There would be things out there that people would be more focused on doing the things for themselves. They want to do it themselves, actually, instead of so it's more a focus on their development, whatever, right? But what's one leadership lesson that building Matrak taught you the hard way?
There's been a lot. Picking one is a challenge. You just can't overstate how important it is to just build really good connections, really good relationships with your staff, like supporting people to actually do more in their careers, helping them, whether it's within your organization or helping them take a stepping stone to a next level. I think that's really where everything pays the most dividends, because at the end of the day, certainly for now, for the foreseeable, everything gets built by humans collaborating. And so there's probably just nothing that you could do that would be more important than just building that really amazing culture that's able to collaborate and is willing to take on big, seemingly impossible tasks. Because one thing my team has really taught me a lot is just how high that bar is of things that are actually impossible compared to what might seem impossible. They prove that every day. So
Wow.
I don't know, that's probably the biggest one for me.
Okay, so if Steve Jobs actually says the biggest success that he has made was not actually the Apple, the devices, it's actually creating that team, right? So what is Matrak's culture that you would say that really stand out, that you guys were able to create? What is it?
I mean, the team's amazing. There's a lot, but I think the fact that everybody's just like so ready to jump in and support each other. There's not really any, this is my job, this is your job, therefore I'm gonna flick something over the fence and then it's your responsibility. Like, we've got such a shared focus of where we want to get to, and I think just seeing how everybody supports each other every day if something comes up, or if there's a customer that needs something that we hadn't didn't expect, or this or that, like, people will just jump in and make sure it happens. And yeah, that's definitely the coolest thing. Whereas, there's plenty of jobs where people are like, you asked me to do something, is it on my PD? No, it's not. Go ask somebody else. And we never see that at Matrak.
Wow. So do you still see Matrak as a startup, or where is it now?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we're absolutely a startup.
Okay, just like Bezos, right? Every day is still a startup.
No, I mean, we're still early. Like, I really kind of restate how far we have to go to achieve what we want to achieve. But we're definitely doing well for where we're at.
So, if you could rebuild Matrak from scratch today, what would you do differently? Or would you do it differently?
Yeah, it's a tricky question. I mean, hindsight's always 2020. I'd love to have done the stuff that we're doing today a couple years earlier would be cool. I think having spent more time in China earlier, I think would have helped a lot. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say.
Ground, right? Being more boots on the ground.
Yeah.
You would say, right? Okay. So, probably this is the last question. If you want to tackle anything, I'm open for it. But what do you want your impact in the construction industry to be remembered? As a Shane, let's be selfish a little bit, and also as a Matrak, as an organization.
Yeah. The biggest one would just be bringing people up from the things that they hate doing. There's so much in construction that, people just getting into big fights over the phone or angry emails, or just like this boring, monotonous work that you have to do, and then everything's last minute, and you don't have your weekends. Like, people work such long hours that they're not paid for, and that sucks, and people shouldn't have to deal with that. And so the idea that you've got like a team of nerds in your corner that are helping make your job a bit more pleasant, like, that's really key. That would be the best one. We just want to solve some problems, get rid of some stuff that people hate. Like, that's the key.
Okay. Well, is it always just Matrak focused on solving problems, or are you reinventing something?
I mean, I think we're kind of just a symptom of what's happening in technology around the world at the moment. There's going to be millions of Matraks for various different industries that are taking on like really niche problems in different ways. And so, it's going to be a very wild few years for a lot of different people, I think. I'm going to have to jump though, sorry, because I've got that other call, so I do have to jump now. All
right, okay. Apologies. Thank you so much again, Shane. You're a legend. Thank you so much for this, and thanks. I really appreciate the opportunity to interview today. And I'll catch you soon.
Thank you so much, Joey. Great to speak to you.
Speak to you. Thank you.
Ciao.
Cheers. Bye.